All right. So causes of World War One. So one of the things that we want to talk about first is just some introductory facts to World War One. So World War One started July 28th, 1914, and ended November 11th, 1918. So it lasted about 4 years. There were a total of 30 countries who would declare war on each other, and they were formed into two main groups that we're going to be going over. So this is really a whole world war. The fighting does occur in Europe, Asia, Africa, and the Middle East, and includes countries from all over the world. In total, 65 million soldiers, sailors, Marines fought in this war. The military deaths in this war are going to be between 9 and 11 million, but more importantly, we're going to see the civilian death toll be really high at 10 to 13 million. So this is going to be considered the first industrial war. And if you were using today's money, it cost an estimated $6.2 trillion. So those are just some introductory facts. So now let's get into the actual war. So a lot of things historians will do, we'll call it the main causes of World War One, each letter standing for something: militarism, alliances, imperialism, and nationalism. So all four of these things kind of combine to cause World War One. So militarism, what does that mean? It means a lot of countries during this time were really going to be building up large armies and navies, and within their countries, they were glorifying military service, kind of building it up, showing how great it was. And we also do start to see a big arms race develop between a lot of these nations. We just finished our imperialism unit. So these countries, these European countries, were fighting all over the world kind of to take these resources, right? Especially we looked at it in Africa and Asia. And so they wanted to be able to defend their territories and everything. So there was a big arms race trying to collect weapons so that they could keep all of their arms. Alliances is going to be a really big cause of this. Countries pledging mutual protection and support. So it's basically like saying Germany is in an alliance with Austria and Hungary. So if someone declares war on Germany, then Austria and Hungary are going to declare war on that country as well. And then Bulgaria will be on that side as well, and the Ottoman Empire. And so rather than just two countries being at war, like Germany and France or Germany and Great Britain, it's really going to do this domino effect, triggering lots of countries entering into one war just on two sides. So while the initial conflict is really going to be between Austria, Hungary, and Serbia, all these other countries get in on the other sides to protect who's in their alliance. Imperialism is another main cause. Again, we just finished that unit. Competition between nations to hang on to and increase the size of their empires. That's going to create rivalry. And nationalism. We see this really take form during this time period when people are really nationalistic, not just their ethnic background, but specifically to their own country, specifically to Germany, specifically to the United Kingdom, Great Britain, specifically to Austria and Hungary. So it causes them to fight further on their sides. All right, so there's going to be more causes to this war rather than just those four main causes. The Industrial Revolution is going to kind of create the atmosphere for this war. So competition between countries for raw materials and new markets to increase their economic power. So we did the Industrial Revolution 2 units ago. These countries saw how much money they could make. And so now, because of the imperialism, because they're fighting over these resources, they were trying to get as much as they could. So this is going to create conflict because they're fighting over these countries for resources. Other causes are old grievances. So there were previous wars. War doesn't just happen and then stop. So France had a grudge against Germany because of the Franco-Prussian War of 1870. And so France is kind of going to be jumping at the bit to declare war on Germany, win that land back, right? Russia is going to form an alliance with France in 1892 after being dumped by Germany. So they had prior alliances, but then they're going to kind of be holding that against Germany. Then lastly, they have what they call the powder keg of Europe. So the Balkan region of Europe had constant nationalist uprisings and conflicts. It's a lot of different ethnic minorities kind of grouped in one area, and that caused a lot of conflict. They had smaller countries that would be fighting with other countries, all kind of being pushed together. We're really going to see that at the beginning of the war. All right, so you have all of these underlying conflicts. You have the powder keg, right? And so for that keg to go off, you do need a spark. So that spark is going to happen in 1914 when the heir to the Austrian-Hungarian Empire is going to visit Bosnian city of Sarajevo. So again, if we look on our map, Austria-Hungarian Empire, big right here. He was the heir to the throne, and he is going to visit right here, Sarajevo in Bosnia. Today it's Bosnia and Herzegovina. So he's going to be visiting there. Again, we have to think of these ethnic rivalries, right? They don't necessarily like the Austrian-Hungarian Empire. So he's going to visit Archduke Franz Ferdinand. He would be the future emperor of Austria and Hungary, and his pregnant wife. They visit Sarajevo, and he is murdered or assassinated by a 19-year-old Serbian, part of, I can't remember if it's Black Hand or the Black Fist. It was kind of this radical group in Bosnia who wanted more separation from Austria and Hungary, right? So Austria is going to blame Serbia. So again, they're not even in Serbia. Serbia is right here. Bosnia is right here. So they are going to be mad at Serbia because the guy was part of a Serbian group, sorry if I misspoke earlier, who does assassinate him. So Austria is going to blame Serbia, and that sets off the chain around all of Europe. So initially, Austria and Hungary are mad at Serbia, and then Russia is going to be mad at Austria and Hungary because they're allied with Serbia, and Germany is going to be mad at Russia and Serbia because they're friends with Austria and Hungary. And then France and Britain are on the sides of Russia and Serbia, so they feel like they have to get in the war because of these previous alliances, right? So there is a lot more we could get into. Again, this is just a short introduction. There's a lot of theory that Germany was just looking for any incident to declare war. They felt like they never got their chance at an empire. So there's a lot of reports that Austria and Hungary were not actually that mad at Franz Ferdinand getting assassinated. They particularly didn't like him that much. They didn't really want him to be ruler. So they weren't actually that mad at Serbia when that guy assassinated him, but Germany kind of pushed Austria and Hungary. They're like, you have to defend your royal people. And so that's what kind of initially starts all of this. So again, we've already kind of gotten into it, but the two main alliances, central powers, so Germany, Austria-Hungary, the Ottoman Empire, which is now Turkey, and Bulgaria. That's going to be the central powers. And then the allied powers is going to be Great Britain, United Kingdom on this map, France, Russia, Italy, Japan is going to be involved, and the United States gets involved. There's a lot of smaller countries, Romania, Serbia, Montenegro, Greece, Belgium, and then there's a lot of countries on this map are going to be neutral countries. So Spain, Switzerland never get involved, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, the Netherlands, they stay neutral during the war. So we are going to get more into the war later, but just for the beginning, Germany did have this idea called the Schlieffen Plan. So it was to attack France first and defeat them as fast as possible. So they wanted to, because Germany is kind of right in the middle, right? They don't want to be attacking people on both sides of the country. So their main plan was to just invade France and take it over. That way, they could focus all of their other attention or more attention on Russia. They thought this because Russia, being a bigger country, would take longer to get ready to set up, and France might have already been ready. However, the plan does fail. France is able to hold off Germany so they don't completely invade it. And so now Germany has to fight this war on two fronts. So the significance is that this does create a deadlock between the Central and Allied powers, and they call them the Eastern and the Western Front. A lot of this war, we're going to be talking about a lot of trench warfare. So that is kind of how this is just going to start. Again, that is just the beginning of the war. This is just an introduction to World War I. So we will be going into a lot more of these themes later throughout this unit. So do remember, finish your lecture notes summaries, put in all those active listening notes as well. And I will see you all later.